these are the two teams that have used Petal so far in this tournament. But when we saw Hunters used it, it was a great last pick in order to punish a triple melee composition. And the Petal really didn't make as much sense for Wild to run it. So we will see first pick and first ban going over to Hunters, and they're going to take that Scarf right out. That little bit of a pocket pick here for Wild.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We did see Night Ray play Ringo, but it was not nearly as impressive as the 2 times that he played Scarf. So I don't think this is a bad ban at all. This is really going to put Wild on the back foot here. They don't have Night Ray to play that Scarf, who they've been relying on for a very long time.
Yeah, as we can see too, the Arden is going to be picked up, or denied rather, and that will make the Sky actually the first pick for Hunters. Very common first pick when she's left available, and Wild will respond with a fast Koshka.
Yeah, picking up Koshka and Catherine, deciding not to go for the Fortress. I think this is really just because Mong really likes to play that Catherine. We've seen him do it a lot of times. Catherine is not bad with Koshka as well. So, going to be a very aggressive composition to throw into the jungle. And look on the other side, you were talking about double CP. We have Sudans picking up Celeste now.
Yeah, this is very typical from what we've seen of Hunters in the past, and they're actually going to lock in the Finn. Very interesting.
Wow, okay. So that's going to be a really, really beefy, slow support. Going to try to peel a lot for both Sky and Celeste.
And we don't know exactly where Sky and Celeste are going because we haven't seen Sudans play either of these heroes in the jungle. Probably going to be a jungling Sky, but the Vox will be the last lock-in. So Koshka, Vox, and Catherine for Wild in this game, showing a very different composition from what we've seen from them in the past.
Yeah, really excited coming into this one. Of course, these two teams had a ton of time to think about compositions, to think about this first game and prepare a specific composition against who they were playing against. So I feel like, you know, this is a very prepared game that we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to get into the first game of the evening shortly. Wild and Hunters, as these teams look to get that quarterfinal or semifinal slot. Welcome to game 1 of the wild card. We have Korea's Wild versus China's Hunters. Hunters looking to get back into the semifinals and repeat their success, if not do better from last season, and Wild have a shot here for their first playoff run.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to watch this game. We do see Wands on that Sky, so kind of going against what we were expecting here. I'm very curious to see how exactly Sudans is going to play this Celeste. Wands has really just been the Celeste player up until now. But throwing that over to Sudans. I'm sure he gets a lot of training from Wands at least.
Yeah, we do have some fighting here down by the neutral shop early on. Queen's just going to stand right on that scout trap, taking a lot of damage already. There's the Quibble going through. And apparently, broken arrow. Hunters aiming straight for their spot. It's true, they did show low skill accuracy rate in that last game. It wasn't the Hunters we're used to seeing. We're seeing an early fight. Mong here taking a bit of a gamble, walking forward, and that's going to be the first kill of the game. Going down as Wands pushes the lane and then rotates back to the neutral shop. Zeratul looking for a pickup, but that's not going to work. Gets one, actually. Does manage to trade, coming back into the fray and using that pounce and the twirl to finish off. He did hit level 2. So nice play there, and Night Ray left in lane, but you have to be careful. Wands got a very favorable trade early on with Night Ray that we saw, pushed the wave and then went right back down to that neutral shop. I think a bit of sloppy play there and awareness from Wild.
Yeah, and when you take a look at Night Ray's CS right now, I feel like he should have a lot more. He was sitting in that lane for a very long time, just free farming essentially by himself. And if you look at it, I mean, Wands is going to have more CS once that lane hits the tower here.
Yeah, good timing too. Night Ray moving forward a little bit. Queen doing a little bit of damage to Night Ray, but not getting too much down. And it will be interesting to see what exactly Queen can do here in that front line to stop the backline dive against this Celeste and this Sky.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when you think about Finn, he can lay down the stun with his A once you do overdrive it. So, but then again, it's really hard to aim that, especially against a Vox who's going to be jumping all around. Koshka is super duper fast. Really what Finn is about against this composition is drawing in Vox so that he can't do that damage.
There you go, Mong taking a hit early on. Does manage to back out, pops his shield. So a little bit more damage though as Hunter is playing aggressively in the enemy jungle right now, and Hunter's just really concerned with pushing up the wave and allowing some jungle invades. Usually with a Koshka early, you see this going the other way.
Yeah, it seems like they do want to try to shut down that aggression by joining up with Wands, that Sky, and making a 3-on-2, and just going for those picks, as you were saying, instead. Yeah, I'm still kind of confused about this Finn comp. I really want to see how it's going to work out, because even if you do pull in Vox, what if you miss your core collapse and then he's just doing a huge amount of damage? You like put him right in position to get right on top of both Sky and Celeste. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, but there is that possibility. If you are practiced mechanically, the Finn-Celeste combo can be very powerful. You hook a couple people in, sets up time for the core collapse, and you basically have a guaranteed stun. So, and with the AoE damage coming in from Sky, you lay a Sky ultimate, there's another stun. So if there's enough setup from the hook, it could be good, but it is a very, it's perhaps unreliable in how much you need to have go right to have that perfect team fight.
That's why I really like the Vox last pick by Wild. We were talking about one of their weaknesses possibly being the drafting, but Vox, I feel, is the perfect guy against this composition. You're just going to be weaving in and out of all of those targeted stuns, and as long as you can stay unstunned and doing your damage, you're going to be in a fantastic spot against these two squishy heroes.
Yeah, and Wild also itemizing well early. We saw Night Ray start with that Light Shield, and now Light Shield stacking going for Zeratul too. So they are definitely aware that if they can stop the crystal power damage coming in, that they'll have a much better chance in some of these engagements.
Yeah, for sure. You see Hunters grouping up here once again, just going for a buy, looking possibly for another pick. You see Celeste always checking those bushes with her Gliogenesis. And now Wild just trying to get some vision down in the forward brush there while pushing the lane. Not much going to happen except some damage trading.
Yeah, the difference is the pressure that Wands is putting out on the map right now. So far, he's had much more of an effect on how the jungling has been going, simply because he is able to clear very well with that Suri Strike. And here we go, Mong gonna come in, gets the stun down, Queen's there. Not gonna pull anybody in. So they will just back off, but there's an ultimate coming through right away. Zeratul's just gonna get stunned by a core collapse. Mong gonna take a big hit, has to slow out. Wands coming in with that Suri Strike, and he's going to get stunned within the turret range, but he will make it out just barely. Inconclusive fight. Oh, not quite enough.
Not quite enough. Very weird team fight there. Koshka going for the ult onto Finn, who of course resists it as per his heroic perk, which all stuns do go into a slow. So definitely a mistake there. I think he was trying to target down probably Sudons, who was next to Finn. Yeah. And yeah, that didn't really do much for Wild in that team fight. You want Koshka to hit 6 very fast, but to not use her ult on Finn.
Right, and those early ults are very important on Koshka to get that snowball rolling, because as soon as the team start to stack some reflex blocks, it becomes increasingly difficult to actually deal that damage. Definitely more of an early game hero.
Yeah, for sure. So
missing that first ult can be quite punishing, and maybe a mechanical error right there.
Definitely a disappointing first fight for Wild. So we'll see how they can recover from that. I think they are slightly up in gold regardless. Night Ray doing a very nice job farming up so far. Although if you do look at both Wands and Night Ray, pretty even here, as well as actually exactly even for both the lanes and the jungles here.
Wands playing a bit of a dangerous game. He's going to face check. Heliogenesis going to chunk out Night Ray though, standing by that neutral brush. Couple of traps laid around that miner. Wands going to check with his forward barrage, and Queen just gonna walk right up here. Mong gonna find Wands on the backside, and Wands just gonna Suri Strike right out of that ultimate laid down in the tri-brush. Mong getting very, very low, but Queen, maybe the first to fall right here, does use the boots to escape, and that's gonna be a missed Solar Storm coming in. Night Ray now starting to dodge around. Wands taking a lot of damage. Mong retreating, and they're gonna get the ult down onto Zeratul. Good hold on that Koshka ultimate. Night Ray trying to clean up. Wands very low. Mong coming back around, and that's 2 kills for none for Wild. Mong looking for a stun, not going to find it. The retreat is just enough.
Yeah, but this is what we were talking about Finn in these team fights. He's really just not offering much. He doesn't have his hook just yet, but once all three of them are really close together, if you miss Quibble, you're not doing much except, delaying the enemy slightly and getting a small shield for your teammates. I really don't understand the pick here of Finn. It doesn't seem to be too effective. We did see Queen try to lay down a Quibble early on, missed it. Missed the second one as well, I believe. I didn't see it have too much of an effect. And overall, just ate a ton of damage. I mean, of course, Finn is going to be very tanky. So we did see Queen just run into the bush and tank a bunch of damage, which was nice. It opened up a lot of space for the other two damage dealers from Hunters. But again, just more missed ultimates and a lot of the damage just missing here.
Yeah, Night Ray may be a little bit too early on that Vox ult too. If he had aimed it down that corridor, he could have actually hit more people in the choke. But other than that, they still managed to clean up that fight. And Zeratul did a good job of holding on to the Koshka ultimate as more of a cleanup tool here.
Yeah, for sure. That was really, really nice. Juan's getting a little bit too far forward.
Hello, Wands. Looks like a little bit of a fight. Now, one thing, though, Hunters, they did fall down by about 1,500 gold as a result of that fight and the first gold miner taken. But, wow, Sudan's way too far forward. Easy stun from Mong. And that was pretty much a giveaway kill right there. Wild picking it up.
Yeah, this is becoming increasingly kind of worrying for Hunters. I mean, Finn once again showing not too much effectiveness. I think she did land that Quibble, but again, it's not a stun just yet because it's not overdrived. And just kind of standing around, Imagine if it was Arden to give a big Vanguard shield to Celeste there, or even to Sky as he was going down. Of course, they did ban out the Arden while it did, which I think was a very nice idea, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this Finn before, but we have yet to see it be highly effective. But Queen is level 6 now, and the scaling from Sky and Celeste is obviously quite good. And they have 2 Frostburns right now from Wands and Sudan, so their kiting ability is getting better as time goes on. And they will have that hook to initiate right now, so it all comes down to how well they team fight. But Wild continuing more and more light shields coming through, just stacking that up to eliminate a lot of the CP threat.
Yeah, they're just going to try to stack up as much, Well, here we go, another fight.
Well, baiting Wands into that, though, so they do take the bait. There's a hook onto Night Ray, but he's just going to pop his boots and get out of there.
Yeah.
So not much, no follow-up. The core collapse was used quite early in that little engagement.
Yeah, just not really able to line up those stuns. You can see the Quibble coming in a little bit too late. Just Vox too slippery, I have to say. This is what we were talking about before we even saw these fights go down. And it's kind of going as per our prediction. So it's kind of interesting. I do agree with what you do say. I think Hunters has got a better late game composition, just with the amount of pure damage once Sky and Celeste stack up those items. We'll see how this fight went down.
I mean, Queen just straight up missing the hook right there, too. So they tried to engage, but there wasn't any follow-up. And then Sudan's here. It's taken out. Queen a little bit slow. And there is a happy Mong.
One punch Mong. There he is.
It's not really punching people with Catherine, though, so
No.
that's a bit disappointing. I don't even know what that thing Catherine has is. It's a shield,
Yeah.
with blades that come out of it?
I think so.
That seems like a really ineffective weapon.
Well, it
Impractical.
stuns people somehow. Pokes their eyes out. They can't see for a second. Well, we do have Queen with her ultimate up and ready. It looks like they are looking for this pick once again.
Well, the nice thing, too, is you can check brushes and get vision thanks to Celeste's perk. So if you use that or some flares, maybe you can pull off a fancy hook. Queen's just going to keep moving forward. That's another missed one, and this was the same problem we were seeing from Hunters in their last game. Just very poor skill shot accuracy.
Yeah, and the other part of that is that Night Ray knows 100% that this is coming.
Oh,
and
boy.
he was ready with that reflex block.
Queen going to get caught out a little bit. Remember, Sudan's is not there, and there's the ultimate hitting Sudan's, and he's just going to melt. They do get a nice death from above into that tri-brush, and Sudan's just barely living. No, finished off. Zeratul has enough of a shield, but that's going to be just barely not a kill from the turret. So they get caught without Sudan's there, and then the finish up from the pounce from Koshka actually picks up the kill. So they neatly escape that dive and continue to stack on their gold lead.
Yeah, Zeratul, a guy that we've been saying hasn't been as effective as Night Ray on Scarf per se, or even Mong on Catherine so far, and Arden really showing up tonight, playing a fantastic Kasha, getting into those back lines and doing exactly what Kasha needs to do early on against a very squishy composition like this.
Well, and what's so interesting too about Zeratul is he's only played ranged heroes out of the jungle so far this season, Adagio, Celeste, and Petal, so showing up big on a melee carry here from the jungle. Not something that we've really seen from him.
Very, very true. We do have double Aegis picked up right now for Wild. They want to go for this
Nice
fight. Big hook.
Nice hook coming in. Zeratul is going to get out of that death from above. They're trying to kite with the Frostbirds, but Sudans has Koshka all over him again. Wands nearly dead. Wands is going to be the first to fall, and they're trying to clean up now. Queen goes down. That's an ace for Wild, making it look easy.
Oh boy. Zeratul is just getting out of hand at this point. He barely takes any damage right now. You get that Fountain of Renewal to keep him alive, and he's just taking no damage with the Aegis prepared right now, and double Light Shield and a Broken Myth. The longer that fight goes on, you can see him chunking down both Sky and Celeste and just taking them both out almost by himself.
Well, you really see the value of that early shield. Obviously, Hunters, because they're up against effectively a double Crystal Power comp too, had that opportunity, but they didn't buy it early. And there's the hook, but there's just no crowd control follow-up. Even get the stun down on a Night Ray, but Zeratul is just all over Sudan's. Wan's just going to try and Suri strike out, but he just provides an easy pounce target for Zeratul.
Yeah, just fantastically done by Wild, and nice. You know, I think it's good to point out the ineffectiveness so far of Finn as well. They get nearly a perfect hook, and they do land, I think, the Sky Stun onto one person, but even then, I mean, they are very far behind at this point. Maybe if they were playing from ahead and they did have both Sky and Celeste scaling up really nicely with a couple more items, they would be in a better spot, but I'm just really not liking the Finn pick, to be honest.
Well, Wands and Sudans are trying to go for that double Broken Myth right now, so they will have a nice power spike once that item is finished for Sudans, where maybe, just maybe, they can take a fight, but they're down by 7,000 gold right now, and Kraken's about to spawn. It's going to be more money in the bank for Wild as they get another cash out from that gold miner, so everything looking very, very good. But we've seen this from Wild before. We've seen them take these early leads and then have problems team fighting late. So can they close? Against Phobia, they managed to eventually, but it was pretty ugly.
Yeah, that is true. It looks like they're trying to shore up that area of that play. They bought double Crystal Infusion here, and it looks like they may want to go for a fight before, but noticing how passive Hunters is playing right now, they're just going to go for the Kraken and possibly go for a fight. As you guys can see, win rate after your team gets the first Kraken is 86.67%, so that's pretty high.
Yeah, definitely. And they check it with a Solar Storm. It does manage to land, but it was a bit of a Hail Mary there. Kraken will be taking by Wild in the end. And Hunters, they came into this game, they wanted to run a very execution-heavy composition. If you want to run this composition, you have to be able to deliver on the timing and the skill shots in those team fights, and they just haven't been able to get that synergy.
Yeah. So let's see what they can do on the defense of the Kraken. Both Sky and Celeste fantastic about clearing minion waves, so that's something they got going for them. And looking on the other side for Wild, they don't have the best kiting composition, or rather sieging composition.
No,
maybe they'll just try to go for an engagement here.
Yeah, missed the hook again. Going to use the ultimate from Sky to try and chunk this down. Wild now starting to advance forward. Queen just caught out in the back, is very tanky, cannot be stunned. Forced by that Catha. They will take one turret, but they don't get a kill. And now this Kraken very low indeed.
Yeah, very low. Zeratul trying to do a bit more damage to this turret, but getting pretty low here. But everything's just barely going to miss, and they're just going to have to back off.
So they do get a 500 gold payout, only one turret taken, so gold advantage will be closed just a little bit in favor of Hunters. They've got a very low turret next to their Vein Crystal, and now Wild looks like they're going to set up for a surprise gank, looking for a pick.
Yeah, this is not a bad idea. Both of the infusions about to run out here, especially the Crystal Infusion. They want to fight right now.
Is Hunter's going to find them? No! Sudan's in the front, is going to get stunned, and then chain stunned immediately. And that's going to be the first kill onto Wands, or onto Sudan's rather. Wands now fighting for his life, tries to Suri strike out, not going to get it. It's going to be another ace. Queen's just Not even close with that Quibble, and that's going to be the end of this game. Wild in a surprisingly dominant showing tonight, easily picking up the first game of this wild card with 17 minutes, and much more impressive play out of Wild than we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah, they really shored up a lot of their weaknesses coming